You know something good when you over there like, mm. Making sure your whole everything is good. Hold on, we live on the other side. Greetings and welcome back once again. That looks crazy. I look a little crazy doing that, but man, we got to break in the case, y'all. We got to break in the case. That's not even what the title says, but I'm so excited with the break in the case. We got to break in the Yummy Cottage case, man. We're in the research and development lab, and yesterday we went out and tested. We went to a session. This is just the intermission before I get into the thing, you know. We went out and tested with the people the debut of the Yummy Cottage burger. Okay. Trying so boss. I had some leftovers. That's what I just ate before I came on here. And I'm like, yeah, this joint, you know, when you eat it and you're making something, it took us some time. I've made it in times past, but like this is like the perfected recipe. And one of the patrons, one of the brothers is like, this tastes like a vegan Whopper. And I'm like, that, you know, when you hear them first responses, you're like, wow, okay. And then I'm eating it later and I'm like, yo, he's right. It does have, it is reminiscent of that. But anyway, I'm talking about burgers. Sometimes I let y'all know a little bit about what's going on with the Yummy Cottage, vegan Yummy Cottage. But what was I gonna say? Yes, onto the topic. I'm here to speak about toxic YouTubers. Toxic YouTube. Let me see what the whole title is before I forget. Dirty behavior and negative vibes. Like, why does she keep talking about this? The other day she talked about jealousy versus envy, and then I talked about toxic people, and it's a reoccurring topic for me right now because of a transition that I'm going through in certain other spaces, as well as doing this research that has caused me to go on into different spaces that I wouldn't usually go. Like YouTube, I call it YouTube University, and some other people probably call it YouTube University as well, right? Is where essentially everything you want to know, both good, Tertia, welcome, both good and bad, you can find here. Okay. And it really depends on what's your mentality and what you're looking for. That's going to be what you're gravitating towards. Now, I am a researcher. I love researching. And so sometimes my research would take me in a place that on a regular day, I wouldn't necessarily go. But when I found in going to certain places on the YouTube, it's just like going to certain places, you pick up viruses or you pick up bad vibes or you pick up other people's dirty behavior, right? Their energy. This is what words are transmitting. They're transmitting the energy. And if you're seeing the person like you're seeing me now, you can even feel to a certain degree my energy by the way in which I'm delivering my message. And what it has done for me this last couple of months is just like open up this whole world of toxic YouTube. Like usually I'm not even gonna front. I'll be on YouTube like, oh, you know, nature sounds, you know what I'm saying? Some days I'll be like, you know, my reggae music, you know, the babies are learning, you know, positive things of that nature. Nigerian movies, every once in a while. I haven't watched one in a while because of the research, but Nigerian movies, this type of stuff. But really the blogging, vlogging aspect of YouTube and people letting you into their worlds on a daily basis, you get to see that a lot of people are miserable and toxic. And it is from this toxicity that they share information with us. It's like saying from this, I always be looking around for props, right? So imagine this this water bottle was dirty. And even though the water in there may be from a source that's reputable, the bottle itself is dirty, and so therefore it sullies the water. This is what it's like for me. I'm just my experience of and because I'm fully aware of, you know, when I'm looking at something and I'm like having to like back up off the screen or I'm feeling the heat coming off the button, I'm like, and then you're like, what's going on here? And then it transfers with you. If you're not mindful, when you shut that video off, Just like somebody may come here and be like, oh, you know what, Amuna, you inspired me today, or you made me think today, or I could tell you was kind of off today. People are getting to know you through what it is that you're sharing. And some of these spaces, I'm not so aware that they are aware that they're delivering a whole lot of negativity masked as, because some of them are just like, we're here for gossip, we're here for the blogs, we're here just to watch celebrities and things of that nature. And then others are very much aware. Sorry, others are not aware because they think they're doing it in a positive. So I know they have so-called Black Twitter. Haven't really even caught on to Twitter, to tell you the truth. Twitter is just like a whole new universe for me, and I don't think I've ever been able to really catch up with the Twitter thing. But you do have a segment of each one of these platforms where melanated people in particular, and they have all kind of people because Facebook is international and all that, but you might have melanated people in particular who congregate in these areas, and then you get to see the real them. And sometimes I actually think they forget that you're on an international platform. And spaces like YouTube and spaces like Instagram, unless you have your account to private, anybody can happen upon you and like actually witnessing you in your living room, cutting up and carrying on. Like, you know, back in the day, you know, it used to matter. We'd be like, yo, son, we outside. You know what I mean? But that doesn't matter anymore. And I find that to be interesting. So hopefully my prayer is that we realize that some of these conversations, although they need to be had, may be better had in spaces where we can hash out certain things before it gets to this point. And some people may say, you know, I've tried that in some instances, and I'm not new to these type of platforms, and I understand that some things may call for a public rebuttal, you know what I mean? But some things are just like, yo, we need to kind of hash it out, because a lot of the things that I've brought up over the years, and for those who are maybe new, I've been on a number of other platforms, right? If I name them now, probably you will be like, oh yeah. And somebody may be in the audience will be like, yeah, I seen her when she was over here. I seen her when she was over there. You know what I mean? So I've been on a number of public other platforms. Shout out to the brothers and the sisters who, you know, I've worked with in the times past. But what I found was, hey, one tough guy, Wagwan. When I would visit different platforms, the energy of that platform would determine the viewers on that platform. And I could, and in certain instances, I did share the same message that I shared on one platform on another. And you get one platform where the people are tearing you down and harassing you, and you know what I'm saying? And you're like, what? And then you'll share that same exact message on another space. And the people who you are attracted in that space will vibe with that message. And even if they don't, they will know how to articulate. I think that the ability to be behind the screen and the ability to hide oneself gives people more forwardness and feeling as though they can do and say anything without any recourse. I think that is doing a great injustice to us as a people, as a community, and as a society, because you no longer have to look the person in the face who you're talking about, who you're speaking to. You can just project into what you think is this virtual universe and not understand that they're actual real people on the other side of that. So toxic YouTubers are not just the people who come before the camera, such as myself, but also those who are in the listening audience who feel that it's okay to just spew all of the indifference, resentment, and hatred that they have inside of them onto perfect strangers. You know what I'm saying? That is whack. That is terrible. Sometimes I go through the comment section. Admittedly, when the person is talking, I'll just be scrolling, and I'm going through these comment sections. And I'm like, oh, Vector, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's up, Vector? 313. A lot of confirmation, bias, twisting facts, misrepresenting data. Correct. There's a lot of this information going on in this blogosphere, in this space where people are running to stories. before you get the full facts, it's causing a media circus. Sorry, so sorry. The babies be like, "Mommy, why you did that?" It's causing more confusion because people are vying for views and attention. They feel as though they don't have enough time. Not all, but some feel as though they don't have enough time to source through the information. But you're stepping into, if you're following news stories or stories, then to a certain degree, there needs to be some level of journalistic integrity, if that still exists, where you're going to source out the information depending on what perspective you're coming at the story with. You see what I'm saying? But we are allowing for, with our behavior and consumption of production and consumption of content. Then I guess that was a real person. I gotta holler back at them. Sometimes you be like, "What's this?" Okay, but with the production and consumption of this content, creating a toxic environment. Okay, and as I was thinking about this, I was like, I'm not the best. I could definitely improve on my promotion skills. I think I feel most comfortable in creation mode, and I don't really like, I produce stuff because I'm like, yeah, the people could use this. I'm gonna share my portion, and if they need help, whatever. And then after, like, I kind of birthed that thought or that idea, and which is why I stepped away from YouTube for a year, because I had to stop that. I had to be more accountable, and so, like, the actual physical brick and mortar that we have, I had to be more like, okay, Amuna, you can't just see it come to fruition and then like, ooh, let me see what else is out there for me to do. Right. So that's my own little struggle that I have, is that I'm addicted to creating things. Right. But anyway, I digress. So in an effort to be accountable, I created this a few things that may be beneficial for those who, for one reason or the next, are attracted to the content here, the approach that I have here, as well as some of the information. A lot of the information I'm sharing come from my research, my studies over the years, as well as my own journey. Okay. And I'm the type of person that I want to be the change that I want to see in the world. Right. So if I wanted to see these things coming up and I didn't, then when I got the opportunity, then I did. And a lot of these things, wildly enough, I've been paying for the maintenance of for years, right? But not really promoting them, which is not the best. So if you bear with me, I will take you through some of the things that I have put together. I may not have as much time as I did before when I put them together, where I can, because some people want to counsel with me and talk to me. And what I found with that is that it gets very, because I kind of absorb energies, it you kind of carry that, you weigh other people's issues and problems with you. It's not like some people be like, yeah, that's what happened. Oh man, that's messed up. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? It takes me a while to kind of flush a whole lot of things out of my system. And it's good that in recent years I've learned to be kind of much aware of when I'm absorbing other people's energies and when I need to kind of pull back. And so I'm gonna go over here and share my screen. How's everybody doing today? That's why I had to back off the lead project a little bit, because the lead project, for a minute, like for a year, the lead project had me like, what? I'm mad. Because different phases of grief. And we spoke about that before. When you read about these accounts and read about what happened and experiencing that, it depends on your personality and your spirit. You might begin to absorb those things. And if you don't take a minute to flush yourself, you will become angry, which is a part of the grieving process. Some people may be in denial. I don't necessarily go into denial. I go into like this anger about what happened and how I can deal with it. So that's what I was noticing, and I had to take a step back. But I'm back. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. I'm able to process it a little bit better now. But let me share my screen with you guys. Application window. Hold on one second. Let me click this over. You doing okay? I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. So yeah, you're not necessarily gonna get hype. You're gonna get more of you're gonna get more of thought and reflection. Why are we, don't do that. Okay, so this is the soul center. I always put it in the bottom, like I said, but I don't remember if I've ever given a full walkthrough of the soul center. But this is the soul center site. And this is one of the courses. Let me show you what it looks like. when you go to the Soul Center. These are all of the other upcoming things that I have planned, all of these ideas that I want to talk about, but all of it is one at a time, right? So the Soul Center is something that I've been maintaining, wildly enough, but forgetting to actually share. So this is the Soul Center. This is what it looks like when you come here. I have different teachers on the platform who may market their materials to others who have an interest in the information that they bring forth. But these few in particular that I'm going to show are courses that I put together over like 2-3 years ago. So Badamuna, Shemonamuna. But this one here is C3 Challenge. It's a 30-day program. I actually have a group on Facebook that other people are in, that they help and they support you going through the cleansing process. Now, how does this connect with what I'm talking about, toxicity? But toxicity lives within our thought processes, it lives within our feelings, and it lives within our bodies, okay? And we store these toxins in certain organs, okay? So there's a connection between our emotional state and our mental state and how we feel. It's all interconnected. It's not just one thing is wrong and you go over here and you try to fix that one thing. They're all interconnected, okay? So what I found in over the years and what I've helped people to do, which also was like, wow, this is why I came up with this, because I was kind of freestyling, helping people to do it since 2009, I believe. And I was like, wow, I didn't know grown people could act like this. I really didn't know grown people could act like this. And so I'm like, how can I have a more hands-off approach to this conversation? And so eventually I compiled this, which is the C3 30-day challenge. So this is like a jump start of not only cleansing your colon, which if we live in America or wherever we're living, if we haven't had a good cleanse, a good washout, then chances are that a lot of the toxins that we have absorbed through our diet, through the environment, are stored in our colon. Not only just the regularity of the bowel movements, and I'm going to talk a little bit about bowel movements, but the actual bowel movements themselves and the contents and how much is being expelled and how much is still in the system, and whether it makes us feel cranky and upset or angry or whatever the case may be, okay? So this is something that is here. The course is over 30 days. It talks more about, it says here, C3 is about more than just trying to lose a few pounds, which many of us do struggle with, losing of a few pounds. It talks about impacted colons, toxins in our body, the fatigue, the excess, the weight gain, the digestive problems, the mood swings, anxiety, the depression. It's a one-time subscription. And like I said, it has a support group. A lot of the people in the support group, when I first started, I actually did the first 30 days, and I could share some of this. I did the first 30 days with everybody in the support group. Some people fell off. This is what I noticed. Some people fell off. Some people didn't go through the 30 days, even when you're on the sideline. Like, come on, you can do it. It's mind over matter. There's a lot of people who fell off and then came back again and then was able to do it. And so I say that to say, this is solution oriented. I'm solution oriented. Once I find out that we're having an issue and do what it is, I don't shy away from saying, hey, I need it done in my life as well. So let's do it together. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can show you a little bit of the support group. You give me a minute, I'll come back and show you a little bit of the support group. So basically, there's a colon cleansing company, a herbal company that I've been using for years. That's the kit what I'm familiar with. A lot of people ask me, is there other ways? I would say certainly there is, but I'm not totally familiar with the other ways. This one I have used because not only does it offer, it's trained herbalists who are compiling it. Their book that they give you to walk through it, it's all official. I kind of like official, so I do official. But within the pre-detox, which is the first 2 weeks, you get to work through some of the things that may be holding you back, your emotional issues that you may be struggling with. It creates, like, it maps out this whole course of action for us. And of course, it only works if we actually apply ourselves to do it. So that's what you get with this whole course. It's a step-by-step. I kind of hold your hand while I'm not holding your hand kind of thing. Let me open this thing up here. And you can definitely come and see the preview, right? So getting started, this is all the first week, part 1. These are all modules that open up for you. Ready, set, go. This is the pre-cleanse. It tells you about the foods you're going to need to take out of your diet, foods you're going to need to put into your diet while you're cleansing. Then you have the full cleanse days, like I said, and then you have the support group, and then you have the whole, how did you do? A lot of people just need a jump start. And people who have done this have gone on to do their own things. And that's definitely, and encourage others to do their own things, and definitely something that I encourage. Once you learn, you have to turn back and help somebody. So that's that C3 30-day program. It's all here. I put the links in the box. The other thing that's available is what I spoke about the other day, is flushing out toxic people. You see here this little 50 mark right here, right? I'm going to tell y'all a little something. Let me make sure y'all can see what I can see. Is what I spoke about the other day, is flushing out toxic people. Right? You see that little 50 mark, right? So it's something that has been going, like I said, but I haven't necessarily been holding people's hands. I've kind of just provided the information and allowed them to push forward as they need to. What I found is that in the amount of people who sign up for the course, the commitment level is not there. A lot of times we get excited. We say, yeah, we want to do this, new year, new me, and all this other stuff. And this is kind of why I kind of sit back a little bit now and watch who's really trying to make changes in their life. Because sometimes we say we do, but when we see the time it takes or the effort it takes or the ability to step back off of the drama and the toxicity in our lives, it's not as stimulating when we have to look at our own stuff and our own poo-poo. You understand what I'm saying? So there, I would say a small margin. When I say small margin of the people, and this is who have signed up for this particular course, have actually completed. That's sad. I'm not sure, how I'm supposed to take it. They've told me it's good, it's this and that, but they don't necessarily push through to complete it. And this is the things that we're going to need as a people to get to the other side. We actually have to apply the information that we're given. This is just one avenue. I can only share what has actually worked for me, right? That's the kind of sharer I am. If I see something that I want to kind of go through, then I'm going to make myself the guinea pig. You know what I mean? Because I don't like hyping stuff to people that I can't really vouch for. So this one I spoke about the other day is flushing out toxic people. It's a smaller course than the 30-day one. And what it does is you can just click here. You see my name here. I'm the author of the course, right? And this is something that, like I said, I pay for. I'm not the best, and I apologize for that, promoter. But I do pay for it monthly to have this kind of virtual school so that the courses will stay up and people have access to it. So if you appreciate what you're seeing and experiencing here, I was going to say at the Yummy Cottage, but at the Soul Center or on Solonomics channel, then definitely support. I know they have Super Chat. I haven't initiated the Super Chat yet. I'm still new to all of that, but I kind of want the people to get value, even though you can support if you want to support, but there's also value that something that you're getting for investing. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody coming through and listening, but I want to see progress as well. I want to see you to be able to overcome the things that you're looking to. So throw in the box if you have some things that you are kind of struggling with, and then I see if I can, based on if I can in any way assist. So, and we had that the other day when we were talking about, I forgot which subject, and that was a good bill. So if you do want to share something or you have a question, feel free to ask, and I'll try to help to the best of my ability. Flushing out toxic people. This is what the course looks like. Okay. Flushing out toxic people. No light in the bush. Surprising ways people steal your energy. Stuck in control dramas. Poor me, look at me. Are you a bully? I don't feel like talking. Answer me, you did it. Those are all of the modules that you're going to go through in this mini course, and it unlocks once you take the course. Okay. Those actually came after I created this. This was actually why I actually started the Soul Center, was from the book Solonomics. And people were like, sometimes I knew based on past experience that people were going to ask me questions. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do a course, and then they can go through the course, and then hopefully they'll go through the course, and then if they have more questions they can ask. And so this was, and I did this course in different ways, but this is the Fix My Life Do It Yourself Solonomics 101 full course, and it asks a number of questions. Hold on. it has different sessions. Now, this one was when I was rather ambitious, y'all. And so this one actually has within the 30, 45-minute sessions. Because what I would find is that people will be like, can I talk to you? And I'm the type of person to be like, oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? And then it will be like on the phone for 4, 5, 6 hours. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, okay. You know what I mean? And they start from the beginning, you know, when I was 2, you know, and I found myself doing that. And I said, you know what? I do have a family. I have things going on. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, so it's more of, you know, the coaching time that goes towards actually being vested in hearing and blocking out time to hear stories and be able to listen to. So a lot of times people just want someone to listen to. I've heard some crazy stories, but I'm not going to go into those. So this one actually comes with sessions. Then we have one that is just one session and the whole course. As you see, I'm going to click on the course. And this one is 2 sessions, access to certain tools. This one comes with a whole lot of stuff. I'm gonna you about to go back and look at all this stuff right here. But that one comes with a whole lot of stuff. But let me open up. Let me open up even this one here with the one session. It has 41 different steps. So this is work. When I say I put in work, when I go into work, man, I be putting in work. And sometimes I do myself a disservice by not sharing. Like this took me months to actually put together. So this actually has 45 modules. It's actually something that you would go home every day and work through. Okay. So it's the core overview of the course, the welcome videos. It has what is Solonomics, the intro to Solonomics. It has information on your emotional mapping, your emotions, sad, mad, fear, power, peace, joy, a lot of stuff I speak about here on the channel. It has the emotional chart, so you get things that you can print. It has information about connecting to your feelings. And it's not only just reading, it has videos that I've taken out time to do, flow charts. It has to do, it actually has activities that you need to go out in your community and do, which I thought was kind of fly. I'm defining Solonomics. Again, like I said, I did special videos for that. Let me see here. I have moments when I share my own experiences. Again, you have things that you submit. Some of these are more interactive, like when you submit things, because at the end, you actually get like, congratulations, you completed. So all of these are point systems. If you see here, you get points for everything that you submit so that you can actually chart and have measurable progress with what it is that you're doing, right? So we like the reward system. So you see all of this. So yeah, this is no hype. And then you actually have, like I said, you have local event and field trips. You understand what I'm saying? And so like this is here, little hidden gem, but it's here for those who will. Let me see if one of these are open. No, that one is not open. Once you let me go back to see if there's an open one. I don't think there's an open one. What happens with this school is that this virtual school is that for every student that signs up, I have to pay a fee. You understand what I'm saying? And so even what I had to do, even some of the classes that I was offering, I had to eventually make it paid, because once I go over my amount of allotted students, then I have to pay a fee. And so that's what that is. Let me go back. And I also have, if you just want to know about the food, what is going on here? If you just want to know what's going on with your food, this is something that I compiled some years ago and I renewed it recently. It's called You Make Me Sick, 100 Top Food Additives to Avoid and Why. Okay. And so this one is $10. And this one is like a PDF educating you on a lot of the food additives that are added in your foods that are making you sick. One of the things that a big proponent on is how the way we eat affects our mood and our mentality and our attitudes, right? And a lot of the additives, the additives that are legally allowed. Let me go ahead and release my screen now. Talking about toxic YouTubers, dirty behavior, and negative vibes, right? Let me go ahead and release my screen. So that was just a little tour. I don't think I ever took y'all over to the Soul Center before. Soul Center. All right. All right, we back. So I'm not sure if I ever took y'all over to the Soul Center. Let me know if I ever took y'all over to the Soul Center. If I didn't, well, welcome on over to the Soul Center. That's what the Soul Center is about. It's multifaceted, but concerning the one I was just showing you, there are a lot of toxins that are known carcinogenics. You know what I'm saying? They're known there, but they're allotted in the food, right? So one of the things that I teach, and my children are proficient at this, is read your labels and stick to simpler ingredients. A lot of us are going for taste. Oh, I want this because of the taste. I want this because of the taste, right? And so even in this health food revolution, if you can call it that, you have a lot of people, companies, major corporations who are jumping into the game and who have the money to forward their agenda. So what you will have is the fact that companies like Pepsi and Nestle will brand, they will have a parent company, and then you will have the little children's subsidiaries, where all you have to do is change the name and the packaging and be the same people who are producing the poison food or are now producing the healthy food. And I saw somebody with a chart the other day, and I like to show and tell. So let me get this chart. Healthy food connection. Hold on, this is off the cuff because I saw this chart before, and so that you can visualize what it is that I'm saying. Hold on one second. A lot of them are connected. A lot of them are connected, and what I read the other day in the news, because I keep abreast, because this is one of the industries that I'm in currently, which is health food industry, but with the objective of actually producing healthy food. Who is Pepsi? Pepsi has, oh man, Pepsi has a number of, I think they produce Naked, which is that juice. I don't even want to lie to you. Hold on. If I'm not prepared, if I can't find what I'm looking for now, I might have to come back and talk about that separately. Hold on one second. And so what I'm saying is, when I saw Pepsi, I think the other day, funding startups for the race to have veganized seafood, I'm like, uh-oh, we in problems. We in trouble. I can't find it now, so I'm gonna have to come back and find that one. And I'll probably find the article I'm talking about as well. I say we are in trouble. And shout out from the UK. Thank you for joining us. We are in trouble. Because what is happening is that these allowable, if you look at a lot of these companies like corn, let me just pull up corn. I got to pull y'all up something. Hold on a second. You look at a lot of these companies, the same stuff that's in the poison food is now coming over to junk food or health food because of the taste. So what I've been doing over the years is trying to use what I know to develop things. This is why we have the Yummy Cottage, to develop things that taste good, but are also good for you. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday we debuted the let me see the ingredients. Yesterday we debuted the Yummy Burger, which has no artificial additives and preservatives. And one of the first things the brother said when he ate it, as a matter of fact, that was a baby. Who opened that door? Close the door, close the door, close the door. I'm coming. One of the first things he said was this. Again, for those who just joined us. See, I'm having one of my ADD moments. I'm looking up corn ingredients. I'm going over to the Yummy debut. I'm bugging out, but hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the corn ingredients. So I'm not just talking about it or on the sidelines, is my point, being upset about what's happening, but I'm actually, this was the debut. It was pretty funny. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on, let me make it so you can see it. All right. Yeah, can y'all see it? Oops. Wait, there's no sound. Hold on.
Yes. Good job, Bubba. He's trying to synthesize a flavor. Look at his face.
So I was at an event yesterday, Yummy Cottage, representing the Yummy Cottage, debuting the burger that has no artificial anything in it, primarily made from vital wheat gluten, which I got a source that is purer than anyone that I've tasted thus far, and black beans. And the conversation is, it tastes like a vegan Whopper. You know what I'm saying? It took a long time to get to that point. Not necessarily I was shooting for a vegan Whopper, but my point is that you can have things that taste good. The issue that people are going to run into is the fact that you want food to still operate. People want food to still operate like it operates in the stores. These preservatives are there because the natural shelf life of food is to go through the cycle unless you naturally preserve it with salt, sugar, or dehydration. Beans are dehydrated until you rehydrate them, and then they have peppers that are dehydrated until you rehydrate them, right? But when people still want to eat healthy in the same way in which they ate unhealthy, it pushes a lot of this food industry to produce some of the same things with some of the same perversions and corruptions in the food, if you understand what I'm saying. So I just wanted to, I'm making you hungry, my bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, but that's the point, is that um prayerfully, once we know something is wrong or harmful, and whatever our gift, our talent, and our ability or our passion is, then we go into those areas and make noise, so to say. We go into those areas and put forth the work. Like, I tell you the truth, actually being a chef, mommy chef, was not at the top of my people ask me, well, what made you want to open a business? Being a mommy chef was not at the top of my thing. As you can see, I like doing things like making courses and writing books and, you know what I'm saying, do things like that. But I love entrepreneurship. So this is how they got me. My children love eating healthy, and they are inclined towards this whole chef conversation. So I found it as an awesome opportunity to do a business venture with my children in the same way I wrote a book with my daughter. And that is also up there as well. Let me go back over there. But before I do that, I thought this was an awesome show and tell for the children to see how you start a business from concept to actuality. So every day that they walk into our place of business, they could be like, yo, that came from my mind. So I'm of the persuasion that if we do more than we say, then we get farther than we have been. Right? So yes, I see value in coming to YouTube and speaking, or speaking on social media. But it only goes so far if we're not willing to take what we have learned. Vernie's welcome. What we have learned and actually put it into action. Sorry, after a while, too much talking is never good. Right? And so I kind of get to that point when we're talking about toxic YouTubers. That means they have not done the work. You have not done the internal work. There's so many tools out here to do the work. And so we have to understand what we come before the people with. We are making more of the same. Oh, yes. Yes, they are. It's fashionable. And it's not even that I push veganism on people. I tell people here, they be like, I'm not a vegan. I'm like, yo, you eat vegetables? All you have to do is make healthier choices. Like, I'm not here to beat people over the head, although you may have some people who do that. I'm here to say, make healthier choices, because this is affecting your mind state, it's affecting your spirituality, it's affecting your relationships, it's affecting your fertility, it's affecting your children, it's affecting your health. You know what I'm saying? It affects your livelihood. When you don't take care of your body and you don't take care of yourself, then you don't take care of those around you, it has this domino effect. And so, like I've said before, I think the joy for me is I like helping. And if I can help in places where, such as this, which is such an intimate space, such as food, where people will come to you, food breaks barriers like music, okay? It builds barriers and it breaks barriers. And I've had people who are like old, you know what I mean? Say, I've never eaten a chickpea before. Or I really don't eat a lot of, but I'll eat that. Like yesterday, the vendor next to me, she was like, this is the best black bean burger I've ever tasted. Like for me, that's like, yo, that's what's up. And I know I didn't do you any harm when I made it. Like I knew I wasn't just trying to get money off of you. And even she said to me, like, yo, your prices. Because one another issue, and I know I'm talking about dirty behavior. So I guess I'll put this into the dirty behavior category. A lot of because for his glory, like you said, because of this whole fashionability of it, people are now exploiting it and forgetting that this is really about getting people healthy. So if you want people to be healthy, why are you going to price it out of their ability to get healthy? I think I grew up around Rastas. And so, and someone said to me, a sister said to me the other day, you know, Amuna, you look at things differently. And I do because of my upbringing. And so growing up around Rasta, it was less of what you say and more of what you do, aka your liberty. You understand what I'm saying? It was how you live. So this thought of veganism, which is all the rage now, is only what they call eating Ital food. When you go, you eat Ital food, right? And Ital food doesn't have excessive salt and excessive sugar, and it's come from the ground and it's healthy for you. So when I come to what they're calling veganism, I just know it as Ital regime. What's the problem? If you say you're going to make some Ital soup, that means you're going to make some vital, healthy body, good for you soup. And so I think the way it's even being presented now is also doing a disservice because it's kind of disconnecting it, like America, the Western society, not just America, likes to do, is to disconnect it from the whole and then corrupt it, like the conversation with ganja. You disconnect ganja from the environment, from the space in which it is, and then you disconnect it and then you isolate it and then you corrupt it. The way the creator made creation is everything, there's a synergistic exchange between everything. And when you try to isolate it and you try to mess around with it, then you exploit some of those, like they say, we're trying to get more of the, THC content. And, next thing you know, you have a whole nother issue. Thank you. Yeah, that's the backstory of the mommy chef. The babies, they kind of pushed me into it. And I can cook, and a lot of people didn't know. Even my mother's like, I didn't know you can cook, because I kind of like hid my cooking when I was younger because I didn't want to be harassed. I mean, yeah, I said it. She's like, I didn't know you can cook. I'm like, yeah, that was on purpose, my dear. Let me stop playing around. But I think I have to come back and do a whole nother conversation with the foods and the additives and all of that good, nice stuff. So back to the toxic YouTubers, dirty behavior, and negative vibes. Did I write negativity vibes? I'm gonna have to change that. My bad. Negative vibes. We have to be careful of what we're allowing in our body, on our body, in our body, and in our spirit. Guard your heart. Is all that. If you're feeling overloaded when you go to certain places, take some time out, step back. You know what I'm saying, and do some of the positive things and I speak about a lot of those things that you can do to de-stress. Some people go to things that are even more stressful to de-stress because they don't know positive ways of de-stressing. So some people use gambling because they feel it's a getaway to de-stress. And all that does is make you more stressed if you lose. Some people go towards sex to de-stress. And what you don't realize that every time you go into the sacred exchange space, if you're doing it with a toxic person, right, you come out feeling worse than when you went in. And now you begin to continue to have your self-esteem and your self-worth dependent upon this person who every time you interchange with them, they suck more and more of your spiritual energy. Understand that your procreation, that power, that drive, that desire is there for a reason. But when you abuse it and when you exploit it, it can have this opposite effect. It is the same energy that is used for creativity. It's the same energy that's used to create the world, the environment. It's that same energy. People don't realize that it lies in the same point in the body, and it's that same energy. That's where creativity comes from. So you can birth a new project, or you can birth a child. And here's another thing about the men who are not realizing. I want to come back and talk about this. That when you plant within the woman, within her spirit, negativity, or hatred, or rejection, or indifference, or doubt, her natural body, her natural makeup as the feminine principle is to take whatever, sometimes people don't understand, it's whatever you give her, and multiply it, right? So I was watching yesterday morning, I watch weird stuff. even when they in translation. I forgot where she was. It was in an Asian country, and this mother was so poor. She had 5 children. She's a single mother. She lived in a 1-room apartment. I can't even call it apartment. 1 room with no. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna tell you the name of it now, so you can go watch it for yourself after this. But it has no bed, she says, and no couch. Okay, and she goes with another lady to the dump, and in this dump, they go and dig out a McDonald's dumpster. Okay, and then what they do is the half-eaten meat that the customers have thrown in the garbage, they fish out this half-eaten meat out the garbage, and then they clean it and recook it. What did I just say? Whatever you give her, be it good or bad, she's going to multiply it. Now, who would have thought that this woman would go into the garbage and take out half-eaten food, clean it, and then try to make it something that is palatable for her children, because she has no other options, because she's poor and her children are poor. My point is, when we begin to understand one another and one another's makeup, then we cannot say that we are, here it is. How your leftover McDonald's is recooked. Hold on. There it is. Real talk. See, I ain't. Let me see if you can see. And then I'll probably put it on the page so you can see at your own discretion. That's the video. How your leftover McDonald's is recooked and sold by this family to survive. Okay. And so the masculine principle and the feminine principle, yeah, it brought me like that hurt me in my heart. You understand? And the woman is like, I know this food is dirty, but people are in poverty. People are hungry. If we begin to understand one another's principles and how we were created to operate, like no amount of external pressure or can change, really. You may try. We're living in a world where people attempt to change the natural makeup, but the very principle, the very programming of each and every one of us is already set. You understand? And when we don't understand ourselves, then we make it to be a problem. And so sometimes the man is putting the woman in front and saying, if you change, I'll change. And then she puts him in front and says, if you change, I'll change. And then no one changes. And everybody is, at their wits' end about why we can't get along, why we can't communicate. And a lot of it, I think, is not really understanding fully our principles and what we were designed to do. And when she cannot produce what she doesn't have, what she will do is let me not say that. What she will do is, this is the man, and I'll do it shortly. This is what we have to teach our children. Plus, grown folks know, yes, we have to know ourselves. We have to know ourselves. A lot of people fight against structure. Not all. I've heard it said, let me better say that. I've heard it said that, we don't like structure or we don't like roles in society. Like, for instance, I'll use the lady who has to dig in the McDonald's. Now, as a program, she may be the nurturer, she may be the producer, she may expound upon what is given to her. If she does not have that opportunity, and she has to move out of this space, which it's consuming, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work to go into another space to be able to produce first before she can multiply it. It drains all of her energy because she literally moved from her spot here to the masculine principle space as this provider, as this protector. She moved, and then now she has to do the best with what it is she has. And what happens is the woman has that ability to do both. And this is, we see a lot of this with single motherhood, and people are mad at the single mothers. She has the ability to go between the nurturer and the provider if need be. The issue comes in, or she becomes hardened when she's stuck over in this space. Like, if it's an emergency situation, more than likely she can get into this space and do what it needs to do to hold it up. But when she's stuck into the space, she has no relief in this space, and she's left out there on her own in this space, then she becomes hardened in a lot of space. Then she loses that nurturer quality because in order to nurture, you have to be protected. That's another topic. YouTubers, toxic YouTubers, dirty behavior, and negative vibes. I'm gonna fix that little typo over there. That's just a little, that's how I flow sometimes. I want to thank y'all for sticking through me with my a little bit of creative ADD that I experience from time to time. I will come back and talk more about that topic. I think I kind of flowed over into that topic because I saw a video that had me on the edge of my seat. Like, what? It was talking about the curse of the masculine woman. And I think a little bit of that spilled over into my conversation here. Y'all probably like, what is she talking about? And this thought of what some will say is toxic is actually this excessive amount of energy that one wouldn't expect for that person to have. And so this is when something becomes toxic. It's like, for instance, you can have something good, but when you have it over the prescribed amount, then it becomes toxic. So you can have iron, but if you take in too much iron, do you understand what I'm saying? Or you can have calcium, but when you take in too much calcium, so anything, almost anything, even water, can have the ability to toxify the system or the soul if you go above the prescribed amount. Does that make any sense? Let me know if that makes any sense. So this toxicity, again, you can be angry for righteous reasons, but if you allow the anger to grow in you and build in you and never turn that on, never transmute that anger into some type of power, then you can become toxic because you're angry, or you can become toxic because you have been hurt and you never dealt with the hurt. And I think a lot of our people have become toxic because they have hurt and they have not dealt with the hurt, or they have not come into spaces with information of how to process that pain. And personally, just my experience in life and growing, I know I look kind of young, still looking kind of young, but that was my struggle. That was my quest to really find out, how do I transmute this energy, and then use it to help others to do the same. And that's kind of why I kind of just stay and hover over this space of identifying issues and learning how to actively heal these issues within inside of us. Now, some of us, let me say, some of us may need more help. Some of us may not be able to do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Some of us may need, a hands-on, because there may be other things that are going on. So I have to give that disclaimer as well. You may have other things going on that you may definitely need to go into some sessions or talk. You're not going to just be able to pray it away. And I'll leave on this note. There's, especially in our community, there's a thought, because we were never given counseling. Like people say, we were never given counseling for slavery. I don't remember anybody ever coming to the hood. I don't remember this. I don't remember that. For a lot of melanated people, the therapy was religion. So this is why, for many people, to release religion is to release the only space in which I can get therapeutic healing. Not in the sense of actually working through my issues, but in the sense of kind of in a space of denial not denial, but in a space of, the word is right on the tip of my tongue. It's this wishful thinking, since I can't think about it. It's this wishful thinking kind of thing. If I just pray it away, or if I just dance it away, or if I just sing it away, it's going to go away. And again, that's something that has been passed down to us, because again, this was the only space where you can let loose. So you go into the church building, or you go into the mosque, or you go to wherever you're going, and you cry and you sing and you pray, and then you come back. Some people like, okay, but you're still the same person. What's going on here? Nothing really changed. Because some of these things you actually have to pull out the closet, put it on the table, identify it. You know what I'm saying? Speak over it, acknowledge it, open it up, dissect it. You know what I'm saying? You have to do all of these things. You can't just be like, I'm going to pray it away and it's going to be gone. No, when you open your eyes, boom, it's still there. In the same way, you can't be like, oh, I pray, that I have a field full of kale greens tomorrow, and I didn't go out there and plant any seeds. Like, where is the field of kale greens going to come from? Where is my backyard garden, my garden bed? I'm praying it away. The Creator gave us the ability and the agency to put our hands to create. A lot of people sometimes are confused of what ways we are made in the image and the likeness of the Creator, right? That's another conversation for another day. But my point is, the way that universal laws and principles are set up, you have to kind of do your portion. You don't have control over everything. Once you plant the seed, then the Creator gives the increase. but you do have the portion that is your responsibility to do. And also often people are saying like, oh, it's the creator's fault. Oh, it's all God's fault, because where was God when? Not realizing that a lot of the stuff you're looking for God for was your responsibility or the adult's responsibility. You know what I'm saying? The people around you responsibility to do what needed to be done. But because we the people like passing the buck, we'll blame everybody. You know what I'm saying? We will blame any and everybody for our pain. And this is how a lot of people then cut themselves off from their spiritual connection, because instead of processing truthfully and honestly what has happened, they would rather look for someone to blame, even if that entity is the power of all creation. And anytime I hear that sentiment, I'm like, what did they tell you about, the responsibility of humans? What did anyone tell you that when you, yeah, they blame the devil, and not realizing that, hey, like I said before, when we look at what has happened, we have to be honest about what is happening, what we allow to happen, what we turned a blind eye on, all of those things. And if we don't, then we become these toxic people who eventually press play on YouTube and just pollute the whole system. You know what I mean? Back to the YouTube, toxic YouTubers and dirty behavior and negative vibes. Then we become the people who, and here's another thing that just bewilders me. I'll be like, we the people will have it so. When someone is coming and the toxicity is spewing, the support level is through the roof. And I'm like, so we like this stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to make a choice. Like if we like wherever energy goes, it grows. So if we like negativity, we support negativity, what we're telling people is that do more of that. We're telling them, and I'm going to come into the thing, we're telling them do more of that. We have to be mindful of what we are supporting and who we are supporting, because what we're telling them is, even if they want to change, and I'll say like in the music industry or the record industry or the entertainment, even if they want to change and they do change and it gets low ratings, they're going to look back over their career and say, well, look, I got to eat, and positivity gets low ratings. And so I'm going to go over here and be ratchet. That's for people like what the comment that Steve Harvey made, which I don't agree with, that integrity can't feed your children. This is what the world, he said that on national TV. Integrity can't feed your children. So that means we're living in a world that doesn't value integrity, doesn't value truth, and wants to stay in this negative space, wants to be in toxicity. And then you have to ask yourself the question, why? This is what we have to teach our children. Balance. Things have to shift, change from order to really benefit us and others. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Religion has deceived us. We blame the devil for everything. It's a serious problem. My biggest breakthrough have come through personal responsibility. There you go. I'm telling you, your whole world will change. Your whole world will change. Like I tell my children all the time, you cannot determine what someone else does. You can only determine what you do. That's who you have control over, yourself. And if something worked for you or didn't work for you, and you want to treat your neighbor as you do yourself, then you'd be like, yo, this is what worked for me. This is what didn't work for me. What worked for you? Because this is how we learn. We're social people. So I learn from you as you learn from me. I don't just come to YouTube. This is why I'm big on community conversations. By the way, we're going to have a conversation about slavery. So if you want to be down with this conversation, it's going to be a round table. I'm going to open up the platform for us to have a round table discussion. I'm not sure. It may be more than one part, because when you talk about slavery, that's like very expansive, you know what I mean? And you have to pick a spot or a place that you kind of want to examine, because I realized that a lot of us, we just kind of do that. We just blanket over it and say slavery, and then all of these wild imaginations start running around in our head. And when we have conversations, we crash and bump in the night, because it's also an emotionally charged subject. But if you want to be on that panel, I've done it before. I opened up the platform during the LED project to have this discussion. So if you're down, I'm gonna kind of narrow it down and give a time and place, and tell your friends, your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your cousins, you know what I'm saying, to join us with this discussion. And like I said, if you want to be on the panel, my only thing is, as I've said and continue to say, is keep it clean and respectful. What I realize is that when we come around each other, some people, not all, feel it's okay to come out of pocket. Some people feel it's okay to disrespect. And because I know that respect is instrumental in having or facilitating positive conversations, even when people disagree, you have to have a standard when you come to the table, which is no profanity and no cursing, which I'll come back and talk about that later. And be respectful when somebody else is speaking, then you slap. You know what I mean? You wait, and then you get to say your point. But what happens is we tend to talk over each other. I've sit and heard panels, and I'm just sitting there like, who's facilitating this discussion? Like, I've facilitated a whole lot of discussions, and come to the point where they be like, Amuna, can you come and facilitate this discussion? Because of the ability to keep it respectful. Once there's no respect, there's no more conversation. And what I find is that we want to be heard and don't want to hear anyone. And that's a major problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we gonna come together? Brother, you won't even let the person speak. You know what I'm saying? That anyway, I'm all over the place. But I guess it all comes together with toxic YouTubers, dirty behavior, which is one of those things, yelling, screaming, cursing on the platform, slamming down your computer, acting all crazy. For what? We have to learn to take personal responsibility and govern ourselves. Govern ourselves. Yelling, screaming. I know sometimes we have emotional breakdown, but that may be the time that we need to back up from the people. You know what I mean? That may be the time that we need to take some time to heal. That was another one of my projects, y'all. Take time to heal. To take some time to heal. Take that time that you need to step away. But I'll tell you why I've come to find out many people don't do that. Because they're not connected to source. Because the people are the lifeline. Because of this negative feedback loop of getting the self-worth from the people, then people continue to come before the people, even though they're not in the right state, because without that negative reinforcement or that attention being paid, they don't feel alive. They don't feel heard. And so, like children, they'll continue the same dirty behavior because at least you're listening. If you're saying something nasty and mean, at least you're listening. If you're pressing play, then at least you're listening. And a lot of these people are just people just dying for people to hear and validate their existence. Whew. Anywho, again, hit me up under the video, press like, press share, so that we can get more of this conversation. I think I'm going to eventually move into the space. And you probably will say, well, Amuna, why don't you invite some of them on? You know what I've learned, especially, and this was some time ago, and I might try again. I'm always inviting people on. And what I've experienced is that a lot of people, not just YouTube, who they first thing they're going to do is look at your platform and be like, if it's about stats for them, then they're gonna think, oh, this person doesn't have enough numbers for me, or because they want to be necessarily seen and not necessarily interfacing in real time with real people. And so I've noticed that I've reached out to sisters in times past to who, like, if you're doing something good, I say that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I can give you recognition of what you're doing. We can sit down, we can talk about it. But when I realize is that a lot of people that I have reached out to, let me just say that, don't want that for real. They don't want that for real. And I'm not talking from what I don't know. One notable, and I don't really like name dropping, and this was years ago. And then the mantra is, I want to help girls, and I want to empower, and I want to do all of this. And I'm like, but you didn't even show up after you confirmed. You know what I'm saying? And then I see stuff coming out, and I was like, yeah, I could have told y'all that, but you give the person, like they say, the benefit of the doubt. So hopefully we get some people who are willing to sit down at the table, willing to have these hard discussions, and who are influencing and affecting the minds of people to kind of be like, yo, sis, or yo, bro, you know what I mean? You kind of sending out some energies that's not necessarily what in a few years or a few months you're going to want to represent who you are. So I'm not saying don't be real. I'm just saying always be aware and cognizant of who you are, where you are, and what you're doing, because this is the internet. So with that said, thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, if you would like to be on this discussion, I didn't get the exact title is yet, but if you would like to be on it, or if you just want to come through and you don't know anything about it, you know what I mean? Or you only just hear like the few things that they tell us, and you want to learn more, just it starts with being honest. Like there was a time where I didn't know much. You know what I mean? And you hear these little regurgitated stats and you say them and then you buck up on somebody who really know what they're talking about. And you're like, what? I mean, you're like, oh, chill. I didn't know that. Let me be quiet and go do some homework. And that's kind of what got me. You know what I mean? So with that said, everybody have a blessed day. I'm going to come back. Like I said, I'm going to have to put this food thing on my list of things to talk about. And if you have any conversations that you want to talk about, any topics that you think are important, feel free to let me know. All righty. Thank you for your time. Everybody have a blessed day. And all the links are in the box.